Microsoft has been an exponent of the cloud for a good number of years now, and sometimes I hear companies talk about software as a service, and I hear companies talk about software plus service, but where does Office 365 sit in that vision?
Office 365 is basically software as a service. It brings what we call our communication and collaboration software to the cloud. Products like Exchange, SharePoint, the new Link, which is our new Office communication server. So it fits directly in there and is certainly part of our big future in terms of what we see going to the cloud.
And how do you see people using it? Like, I mean, one of the things I'm interested in is that you guys have come out with the Windows Phone 7, for example. You have Windows 7 has been an extraordinary success. There's so many other things happening, even on the gaming front, like with Connect. The three screens vision, I mean, the idea is ubiquitous computing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and this is a big step in that direction. When we talk about productivity for Microsoft, we talk about the best experience across the PC, the phone, and the browser. And so this is definitely a step in that direction to bring that, like you said, with the Windows Phone 7, with the Office Hub right in that phone. You have that experience on the phone. With Office 365, you have that served up basically anywhere access, you have a PC. And then, of course, we support a number of platforms on both the browser and PC Mac, so it's a great story on a platform basis.
So who can use Office 365? I mean, do you have to be an Office 10 user, or can you simply go online and sign up? How do you get it?
You nailed it. Just go online and sign up. It's definitely tailored for companies of different sizes, so we have different offers across the board. But it's really one of the best aspects of 365 is it brings really the enterprise capabilities that really big companies would be using today on-premise to the cloud, so that customers of any size, down to a single person. So the entrepreneurs that we're talking about these days in this type of economy, starting their own businesses, if you're a single person, you can go on and have really the same capability, IM presence, unified messaging that any big company would have today.
And in terms of storage, I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, I come from the days when we used disks to store stuff, and you'd lose them, or you'd go to a store and magnetize it or something, and now you can store it everywhere. I mean, if I was a prolific user of this Office 365, where can I store my stuff?
That's part of the best point, is it would be stored literally in the cloud, in our data centers, co-located, so it's backed up multiple times all over the place. You would have many, many gigs of storage, so it's not something there that's really a concern. And then, of course, there'd be options to expand that. The point, too, is that especially for businesses, that storage or your access to those documents is all backed by a financially backed, what we call service level agreement, 99.9%. And so for businesses, it's got that reliability that you want to have. You don't want to miss your documents for a couple days and then suddenly get them back. And so that's an important part of our proposition.
Frazer, I'd like to ask you about the Irish scene for cloud. I mean, one of the things I've been at pains to explain to people is what is the cloud, and so there's fundamental understanding. Some people have different approaches and understanding of the cloud. Do you think Irish businesses get what the cloud is, and do you think products like Office 365 could help bring home that message?
Well, I think there's been a lot of movement in the last 6 months. People are coming from a background of shared services, obviously, particularly in the corporate space, virtualization, centralization. So the step to visualize what is the cloud is quite an easy step to make now. So in that context, there's a lot of market readiness there for it, for people who haven't centralized data centers and who are looking to do that. On the smaller level, if you look at SMBs, even individual sole traders, people are familiar with online services. The internet banking, they're using perhaps shared services for personal photography, etc. So the concept of consuming software and services online is already there. It is a bit, it's new, it's innovative to think that now I can use applications that I traditionally associate as being on my device, but I don't think it's a big step for people to make.
I see the proliferation of smartphones. I think there's a figure approaching in the US, 50% of people will be carrying smartphone devices. Technology has come a long way. I mean, a few years ago, for a good computer, I could nearly spend €2,000. Now I can get a netbook that does nearly everything I need to do on the move. Ubiquitous computing, I mean, are we far away from a point where we will see everybody being able to compute wherever they want? I mean, we have mobile broadband, we have cloud products, but do you think we're far away from it becoming an acceptable way of conducting work, that it's going to be assumed as a way to do it, as opposed to few people leading the charge?
Well, I mean, if I could answer that first, I mean, I think absolutely, and in many cases we're there already. There's a lot of corporates out there that will have a particular policy around their expectation of how much time you spend in the office. And while traditionally that might have been 40 hours a week, it's now down to as little as 1 day a week. So it's not just the computing piece. There's an environmental driver behind that as well, in terms of getting people off the road, the green agenda that is increasing its strength within the policy making. And the technologies are there, and they've been there for a long time. I think what's driving it is obviously connectivity has improved hugely. So the infrastructure that people have is now accessible through the communication links that are now there from the data providers.
One of the things Microsoft did in last year was open a gigantic data center not too far behind me right now, and it's going to be host to many things from your Hotmail to these products. The way that companies like Microsoft are approaching the cloud, I mean, the end of it, I mean, yesterday I had to put a software product into my computer and it had downloaded and it's uploaded, whatever. But the days of that, I mean, do you think the idea of putting disks into your computer to get your software could be antiquated soon?
Soon, if not already. We have a lot of options like that today for those products that are electronic software download, that you could easily do that just like you'd download something off the internet. And that would only progress in the future. Definitely, you'll see that with options like we have today with Office 365 in terms of getting Office 2010 on a subscription basis. Download, install, and every month. It's a very simple process. And so that type of experience is something that we'll see more and more and more, and certainly is the direction that we're headed.
How does Office 365 differentiate itself from BPOS?
It's a great question. First of all of the new lineup of all of those products will be rolled out with Office 365. So it'll be major upgrades to all of the current BPOS offerings, plus a major upgrade to Lync, Microsoft Lync, which is the new name for what we had called Office Communication Server and Live Meeting, which is an incredible upgrade on that basis. High definition video conferencing, online meetings, all of that hosted through Office 365. And additionally, we'll be adding what I just mentioned before of the Office subscription. So no big upfront cost. Small businesses can walk in for just a few euros a month, get the top productivity tools in the world on a very, very cost-effective basis.
Frazer, just ask you, I mean, as a partner of Microsoft in Ireland, I mean, how do you find the local business scene for uptake of such things as BPOS?
Sure. So, I mean, what are companies looking for? They're looking for cost reduction. They're looking for productivity, more from less, and they're looking for, where possible, to get some growth. And there is growth opportunities out there if you can be nimble enough and see the opportunities that are there. So the great thing about the Microsoft Online Services and the BPOS particular product set is it gives people that and companies that opportunity to take advantage of that. They can take as much as they need only, and they can apply it very quickly. They don't have the capital overhead that's associated with the provision of services normally, and it's a subscription model. So from a cash flow perspective, they're in control of what they're spending. So there's an appetite out there for that. And as companies are coming to their traditional support contract renewal or their traditional SBS, small business server upgrade, they're saying, you know, is there another way of doing this? And so from our perspective as a partner, we're not pushing this down anybody's particular throat. We're saying, here's the traditional option, here's the cloud offering. There are times when one will suit better than the other, depending on your particular situation. And here's the benefits of both. And people are listening to that now, and they appreciate that there's an option there now that wouldn't have been there 12 months ago.